Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Fishhooks here. So, if you watched the last episode in Kerbal Space Program, we went and did a flyby of the moon. And now our next set of missions are for us to explore the moon. I'm going to turn the music down just a little bit here. There we go. So next missions are to explore the moon, meaning basically orbit it. We need to orbit it and then return to orbit. We want to pull back science data from the moon. We've already collected a lot of science data, so this one might be a little trickier than it appears to be. I think what I'm going to do is ensure that I'm able to do an EVA. So if none of my regular scientific experiments don't work, we will go that route, use the EVA as the opportunity. And then finally, this one's the more technical one. It kind of means that I need to do a slight redesign on my vessel because I need to not only do an orbital insertion burn into the moon's orbit, which means more fuel, but I'll also need to do adjustments to it because I'll have to adjust to different positions around the moon. So we're going to think about these objectives in designing a new version of our ship, and we'll pull up what we took to the flyby a moment ago, or not a moment ago, I guess, in the last video. It was yesterday for me. It might have been 5 minutes ago for you. But what we had here was a simple, let me think, 1, 2, 3 stage craft where stage 1 was purely solid rocket boosters that got us up to about 10,000 meters for the gravity turn. And then we had a main engine stage here that was designed to get us into orbit. And it actually fell short of that a little bit because I had to use my orbital maneuvering stage, this top part, to finalize the orbit. So, goals here. Oops, sorry, alt-tabbed. The goals here will be to get into orbit without using this stage at all. And then I think there's enough gas in this stage. If I can just get the orbit done, I think there's enough gas in this stage to make me able to do all the maneuvers that we need to at the moon. Ideally, I'd like to have enough left in here so that my transmunar injection can happen with this stage. So, with all of that said, we are going to ditch the bottom half of this craft and assume that the top half of this craft is okay. But, oh, actually, you know what? Let's exit out of here. We won't save this. Let's exit out of here and consider investing some of this awesome science that I got from the flyby in more capabilities to be able to knock this out. So heavy rocketry gives me the skipper. That's a great engine for getting off the ground. Also gives me the big boosters. Okay, that's super tempting. I don't think anything there necessarily is necessary at this point. Fuel lines. Okay, if I want to do some asparagus staging, this is also tempting. Okay, so bam and bam is very tempting. Survivability, though, is just as important as lift power. So let's think about power. Small reaction wheel. Don't think we need any more flight controls at this point. Aero, fairings and cones and different cockpits and whatnots. Again, I think we're okay without that. I'm tempted by that. Thermal control, not a bad idea, but I haven't been struggling with my thermals at all. Now, power will be a concern. Okay, so we're definitely going to get this because I want to be able to recharge battery packs. And let's decide between lifting and versatility. Different fuel tank options. This is a great fuel tank, but the fuel duct allows you to do all kinds of things, including a method of fuel distribution called Asparagus lifting, which enables you, like, imagine you have 6 engines surrounding a central core. Those 6 engines can be fired at the same time, but set up in such a way that 3 of them will drain first, and then you eject those 3, loosening your weight, and still have full fuel in the remaining 3. So it's a fuel distribution method that I think I might employ here. Yeah, we're going to go with that. And then I'm gonna say we can go without the other heavy lifting stuff for now, even though these SRBs are super duper tempting. But we'll skip it for now. And I think what we'll do is try to focus on maybe putting asparagus staging in our transmunar injection stage. That'll also enable us to reduce the height of this craft. That's a good thing. Okay, so let's do that. We'll do a 4-piece asparagus stage here. So let's take the engine off, replace this with our brand new shiny fuel tank. Fewer parts is better, always. Okay, so this will be our transmunar stage. And now what I'm going to do, thinking about this for a moment. What I'm going to do is bring in I'll put it here. We're going to do 4 of these, but let's set one up first. And then we'll use the symmetry tool to that's how we do. Okay, good connection. Thinking about this. That's really close. But think about structural elements for just a moment. Do I have any? I don't think I have any 3-meter components to take that down to. No, not yet. So not much value in fairing it out at this juncture. Oh, maybe. Hang on, let's rethink this. Let's take this off for a moment. Let's put that fairing on and do a little experimentation. Or flaring on. We're going to take that off. I think this will just be our return piece. So let's... Where did I put the engine? Oh, there it is. Alright, so that means I've now got a stage for ejecting and a stage for ejecting. Okay, cool. So now we're going to build a lower stage here. And that's going to be our lifter and transmunar stage. At least that's the thought so far. The beautiful thing about this game is that you can build and iterate and build and iterate. Wrong. Just checking all these out. There we go. Alright. Okay. This is starting to come together interestingly. I think I'm going to try to do this with all liquid fuel. We're going to see how it goes. Let's go ahead and put our swivel on here. Okay. All right. Now what we're going to do is take these bad boys and create an asparagus staging system. And on 3 of them, I'm going to put reliance for heavy lifting. And then on the other 3, I'm going to put terriers. Okay, so let's real quickly think about our staging, make sure that we're not screwing up staging. It's a lot easier to fix as you're going than otherwise. Excellent. Excellent. So I believe this is going to be an initial lift rocket, because that's going to be fed. In fact, these are both going to be initial lifts. Trying to think. Okay, we're not going to do we are going to do asparagus staging, but we're just going to do 6 of them with the same engine and just sort of see how it goes. See how this goes. All right, so first thing we're going to want to do is copy this bad boy out. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we got 6 versions of it now. Oh, you know what? Hang on. That's okay. We can put the nose cone on it separately. That'll duplicate itself. All right, now here's how asparagus staging works. I'm going to pick this one here. We'll call this one number 1. We want number 1 to feed into. I'm going to try to remember how to do this. Actually, it's been a minute. But number 1 is going to feed the main tank. Okay, number 1 is feeding the main tank. Oh, we don't want to do that times 6. Take that back off. All right, number 1, feed the main tank, please. All right. And we want number 2 over here to feed number 1. And number 3 to feed number 2. Then we're basically going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to pick, it needs to be the opposite one. So this is going to be number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Okay, now the result of that, what's going to happen, the reason we did that, is number 3, each of the number 3s is going to drain first. Okay, and notice that they're opposite of one another. So this is a good way of looking at it. Number 3 is going to drain first, and then I'll eject it. All right, and so as far as a load point of view goes, number 3 and number 3 left and 3 right here will be ejected at the same time, reducing overall weight and leaving me 4 fully fueled rocket boosters. Okay, and then number 2 and number 2 will drain. And then when they drain, I'll eject them, and I'm left with just the 2 ones. Again, keeping my balance even. So what we need to do now is identify and break out these into pairings. So let's do that. We're going to need 3 different separations. Uncheck all of these bad boys and figure out which one's which. We need... Damn it. Stop that. Okay, that's number 2. There's one of the number 1s, so we're going to put that down on number 8. Put that one back up with the other guys. Let's find the other number 1. There it is. Find number 2s. That's one of them. That's the other one. All right, so now we've got 3 groupings where these should all separate. Oh crap. What did I mess up just now? Oh, that's one is the one that needs to go away. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. All right, so the one that's feeding. All right, so these 2 should be the first to eject. So let's find them and ensure that we've got it properly set up. Okay, so that means this needs to come down. So that's the first one to eject. And then these... No, you know what? That's backwards. I'm sorry. That's the last to eject. 3, 2, 1. Collapse. Why can't I collapse this? There we go. Okay. Okay, I think we got that mapped out properly. I'm tempted to just go do a lift test now. Let's go ahead and put some support struts on here. It's a heavy beast. All liquid fuel, which allows for the asparagus staging. And this might be enough to get me all the way to the moon before I even have to eject the main drive. Okay. Call this on Moon Orbiter 1. Let's provide some strutting. Let's strut our stuff. Give it some stability, some structural integrity upon launch. It's never a bad idea. Replicate it all the way around. Good. Good. And let's bring it into the main fuselage real quickly. Okay, that should be pretty darn stable. Let's think about staging just real quickly. All engines will fire. Okay, all engines will fire. At the same time, our support struts will come off. So that'll give me initial lift. And then we'll eject, eject, eject as those run out. And then somewhere in space between the moon and Kerbin, we will eject the main drive unit, the launch base, and then this will be our maneuvering system for lunar orbit and return. And then that will eject our science module. I'm thinking with all this power that I might be able to add another science module into here, because I haven't done any science juniors from low orbit. So we'll do that. Anything else I can bring with that I don't already have? Oh, electricity. We talked about that. Okay, and I think I unlocked some photovoltaic panels. Yes, I did. Bueno. Let's litter the thing with those here and there. I don't yet have the fold-out ones, so we'll live with some oop, obstructed. Alright. sure nothing's obstructed. Good deal. Alright, I think this craft could very well do the trick. Asparagus staging for the win, I'm hoping. It's a lot of ship. It's a lot of freaking ship. Look at that monster. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to save this as Moon Orbiter 1, but before we move on, I'm going to ensure that I have unlocked the ability to do EVAs. I got to remember what I've got to upgrade to do that. Can disembark only on Kerbin. Kerbals can EVA and place flags. Alright, that's what we want to do. Resource transfers. We don't really need that yet. So we'll unlock this before we actually do our moon landing mission. That way we can take surface samples. Can this thing support 140 feet, 36 meters? I think we're okay. Let's just find out if it can or not. It'll tell me if it won't, if it's too much for the launch pad to handle. Alright, looks like it's not too much for the launch pad to handle. Let's go ahead and set up our camera, and we're gonna go to the moon. Okay, I'm gonna throttle up, and I'll go ahead and put it at, say 90% throttle. With all these engines, it shouldn't be hard to get it off the deck. Fire. It's a good controlled launch. Good controlled launch. Now, notice, these two are burning down faster than those two, which are burning down faster than those two. That's the asparagus staging working. So, if I've got my staging correct, the two number threes will burn out first, and we'll eject them. We'll detach them is the proper term. Nice. That's so sexy when it's done right. Oh, I didn't turn on SAS. There we go. A little late. It's okay. We'll pitch it a little bit, like 10 degrees or so. We got a lot of swivel power with all those engines. Dropping stuff, dropping stuff. Alright. Still got lots of fuel. Wanting to pitch back up. I should have put flight control surfaces on here. Fins. Well, if this mission ends up getting reverted, if I lose control, which is looking likely at this point, I'll go back and put on some flight control surfaces. 3,700 meters. Eject. Oh, that was bad. That's still really bad. Okay, revert. Vehicle assembly. We missed a thing. Let's get our biggest fins and slide them on. That should help immensely with control. I might even put a couple of little ones on as canards. Alright. Controlling the airflow should really help with stability here. I'm also going to turn on SAS at launch this time. And we are going to start with 100% throttle because that was kind of sluggish getting off the deck. So, 3, 2, 1, launching. Smoother that time. Pointing true. 0 degree heading. We're going to pitch that about 45 degrees to the 90 when we get to 10,000 meters. But before then, we need to do some staging. Just not even touching the keyboard at the moment. You know, just letting it do its thing. Let the SAS work. Falling a little bit off of 0 degrees, but I'm not going to counteract it at the moment. Oh. Didn't even notice that was ready. This is a serious launch vehicle, man. Now we're picking up some speed, 3,000 meters, braking 100 meters per second, accelerating at 1G. 4,000 meters. We'll do our gravity turn at 10. At that point, we'll only have 2 side boosters. Dropping stuff back on the complex. Bye, you guys. You know, there's a mode, and I don't know if I have it on or off right now, where you destroy your base if you drop things on it on accident. That it hurts and costs you money to rebuild and stuff. And I don't know if I've got that enabled at the moment or not. About to find out the hard way, I guess. Okay, getting ready to do the gravity turn. Start pitching, bit by bit. Don't go overboard, lose control. Let the prograde marker come down to you. Keep bringing it down, just barely lead the prograde marker. We're accelerating still at 1G. I'd like to actually pick up a little more acceleration. But we're looking good. Remember, that center tank is completely full still. Alright, 45 degrees. Sort of hold it there for a moment. Let's take a look. 18,000 meter apoapsis right now. We're about to separate this stage. Oh, geez. Let's see if I can recover this. I doubt it. It's like it's top heavy. Nope. Alright, there's a flaw here. And I guess it has to do with the center of gravity. Maybe I need to stay vertical a little longer, but I'm guessing it has to do with center of gravity. I gotta remember how to get to that tool that exposes your physics. There's a thing for this, and I don't remember how to do it. It's been a long time. Oh, how do you do that? I forget. Oh, Jeb, you're not supposed to be flying this thing anyway. It's Valentina's turn. I don't remember how. Oh, here it is. Okay. Center of mass. Well, that's a pretty low center of mass. Oh, of course, that's the center of mass with it. If I take these little guys off. So my center of thrust is way down there, but the problem is it's down there when fully loaded. So I need to find out. What I don't know is what it is. I'd have to take it apart to see, I guess. So let me save this as it is, and then let's take these off and we'll just reload it without these pieces. Alright, where's your center of mass? Well, that looks okay. If I put my little winglets back on, does that change the... Okay, we'll take those off. I am not sure why this thing pitched over like that. That's a It's upsetting. It's a little unfortunate. Let's try to launch again. And maybe hold our gravity turn until 15,000 meters. I think it just simply has to do with my velocity not being fast enough at that low altitude. So crank this Mamma Jamma back up to 100, SAS on, launch. This should be a good launch vehicle, it really should. Alright. Preparing to stage. Stage. Turn just a tad. Pick up some lateral speed. Some horizontal speed. Dropping bombs, baby. All right. Preparing to stage. Staging. It's good stuff. Okay, good stage. All right, speed decreasing a little bit. Still accelerating though. Well, still. It's just not got quite enough oomph. We're just going to stay at this heading and attitude, roughly. Keep it around the 90. Keep it at the 90. All right. Let's see if we can hold this until we get... I'm trying to think. I guess I could just hold this attitude until this until the last set of support boosters burn out, and at that point the atmosphere will be light enough that I hope that top heaviness won't affect us, because I think that has more to do with aerodynamics than it does weight distribution. The center of mass is still really low. Okay, how's that looking? Why is it pivoting? Don't pivot! Nope, accidentally. Ah! No bueno. Okay, revert flight. There's something dramatically wrong with this thing. What is it though? If I made this bit stubbier, would it do it? Or if I made this bit stubbier, would it do it? I don't know how I could. Alright, let's take off one of the Science Juniors. Let's try that. Maybe those little guys weigh too much, you know? And that's what's throwing it over the edge. Giving it a shot. Trial and error, man. Trial and error. Build, measure, learn. Build, measure, learn. Build, measure, learn. I'm accelerating a little bit better this time. A little over 1G. We'll go ahead and start an early gravity turn so I'm not dropping bombs on my space center. Preparing to stage. Staging. I think I'm still dropping bombs on my space center. Okay, preparing to stage. Group 2. We're definitely picking up speed a little bit better this time. Shed that weight. Okay, now see how we lost speed and how the ship corrected itself again. Alright, we're going to try an early gravity turn this time. We're just going to experiment. Go ahead and rotate it down to the 45. Let's see if we can hold this. Get all that surface speed built up. Even though this isn't a great hunt for the apoapsis, this is maybe going to give us enough sideways velocity to overcome this issue that I'm having. Keeps wanting to pitch up. I don't understand why. Come on, baby. Get there, get there, get there. Oh, don't do that. Why are you doing this? If I throttle back, it actually seems to help a little. So keep trying to manhandle this thing. I don't like it. I don't like it. This is terrible. This is really, really bad. Come on, damn it. Get over there. Get over there. Goodness gracious. This is not how they do it at the NASA. Worst spacecraft launch ever. Sideways. Get on the 90. Give it all you got. Oh god, this is terrible. Okay, scrapping. Something about my asparagus staging is just not working out. I don't understand it. I don't understand why that's happening. Maybe it has to do with this engine that I'm using. Does this one have a gimbal? What is it? The Reliant? Okay, let's change that out with the swivel. Maybe having the gimbal will provide what it needs. Let's do another shot with the same launch platform but with the gimbling engine and see if that enables the sort of control that we need. I guess the reaction wheel just isn't strong enough. You know, there's an idea. Revert, launch assembly. Do I have a good reaction wheel at this point? No. Okay, so let's save this. Let's go unlock. There was another segment of research and development that I didn't go for right now with the reaction wheel. We'll do that. Inline stabilizer. Okay, so we just spent most of our points, most of our science points, and we're going to add a stabilizer to this thing. We'll do it here, and while we're at it, we'll go ahead and put that Science Junior back on. Let's make sure we got ground clearance. We do. Alright, let's try this iteration. One of the things I love about this game is that it forces you to adopt an iterative problem-solving methodology, right? Where you've got to just try things and make them work. Oh, see how that didn't work? I don't have my staging set up correctly after I changed out engines. Where'd that engine go? That one engine made a lot of difference, huh? Alright, let's try this real fast. That engine may not have the lifting power that I need. Maybe I should have unlocked the Skippy after all. There we go. Okay. Lift rate's about the same, right at 1G, even though we've added a little bit of weight. Hopefully this little booger will do the job that we need. Photovoltaic panels seem to be working okay. How's my crew doing? Oh, Jed? Ah, man, I meant to put Valentina in. If this fails again, we're putting Valentina back in, bruh. Or you can do this mission, and then Valentina can do the moon landing. we'll just... I'm not going to scrap the mission just because you snuck in there, Jeb. They're falling! No! Ba-boom! Spladoosh! I have a feeling that stabilizer is going to do the trick. I really do. The reaction wheel is enabled. Dropping stage 2. I'm going to rotate a tad there, and then we're going to turn toward the 90 in a minute. Still not as stable as I'd like, for sure. Look at that. Look at all that wobble. Picking up a little bit of speed now. I feel like this was slower, this launch. But we'll take the tortoise approach here and just see if we get there. Alright, let's begin our gravity turn. Pitch it over, let's trust the stabilizer. Trust the stabilizer. Pitching. Alright, and we have our engines at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock now, so hopefully that helps a little. That's why I did that little roll program. Okay, the stabilizer seems to be helping here. Now, notice this. Asparagus staging. I've got a completely full set of tanks here. Only problem is I'm not gaining speed. What's my current apoapsis? I doubt that this will be a successful launch. But we're learning. That's okay. Let's turn into it a little bit. Our prograde is below the horizon. That's really bad. It's not going to be a successful launch here. We're falling. Alright, we're going to revert, and we're just going to do an extreme straight up shot and then do a really late gravity turn. Let's try that. We're going to figure out if this... There's no reason this launch platform shouldn't work. It really isn't. Alright, we'll do our gravity turn at, say, 25,000 meters. So a really, really late gravity turn. Let's see if I can get this thing to 25,000 meters going straight up. No reason in the world I shouldn't be able to. Well, I guess except for thrust to weight ratio. That might be one reason in the world. I'm guessing that's what's off here. It's just my thrust to weight ratio's poor. If this fails, we'll have to lose the asparagus staging and go with a solid rocket booster format. And that's fine. They offer a lot of punch. You just can't modulate them at all. I don't know. NASA was able to do it with Saturn V rocket. Was all liquid fuel. Why can't I, you know? Okay, losing speed. So we've got a thrust to weight ratio problem. That's what it comes down to. Liquid fuel is just too heavy. 109 meters per second. Leveling off there. Should start picking back up though. 110. Alright, we're accelerating again. Passing 10,000 meters in a second here. That's when we should be going, 400 meters per second. So we're way behind the acceleration curve here. Boom, boom. Kind of far away for me to still hear that, don't you think? I mean, geez, we're 11 kilometers away from the explosion. Alright, so we're about to run out at 14,000 meters. The real question here is, will that center engine have enough power to overcome the weight of the craft? Negative. Look at that speed falling. Stay with it though. Let's just see what it can do. Wow, it's really, really bad. What if I just replace the center piece with smaller, make the whole thing this width, the 1.5 meter. I think that's going to end up being the recipe, because I'm stalling out again here. Well, hey, it's picking up speed again. Oh no, it's not. It's losing altitude. Okay. All right. Reverting vehicle assembly. Let's lose. I'm gonna need the skipper before I can do that. All right. Let's see if we can be smart about not having to re-engineer this entirely later. We'll take off the 3s. Set it over here. Oh man, it's gonna make me redo the whole thing. Okay. Would have loved to have taken all that fuel, but alas, it's not in the cards. So we'll give this a whirl, and if it doesn't work, then we'll go with an SRB plan. I'm gonna try to continue to use the asparagus staging methodology. I wonder if I went with a 4-engine asparagus stage. If that reduces the weight enough to where the thrust to weight ratio is just more favorable. We'll stay with a 6 for now. Oh, hang on. All right. You shall be a number 1. Oh, that's not what I want. Come on, grab just the thing I want. Damn it. Okay. It's making me do all 6. Oh well, it's fine. One at a time, just like before. A little bit finicky. This little guy is the next one. All right, now you are feeding you. You are feeding you, and you should be feeding the main. And you are feeding you, and you're feeding you. All right, now let's check our staging. Boom, boom, boom. You need to be moved down with the main group. All right, now let's break up. We need to find our 3s. So there's a 3 and there's a 3, right? So there's one of them. There's the other one. Let's pull those down. Alright, now let's find our 2s. One of them. There's the other one. And then these should be our 1s. Excellent. Okay. So that should be our staging good. Let's back up and double check it. First thing that's going to happen is launch pylons will let go, all engines will fire, and then we'll separate 3s, then 2s, then 1s, then main. Alright. Do this as Moon Orbiter 2. It's a pretty major iteration, so not overwrite the 1 in case I want to revert back. It's a major redesign, man. I believe this has been recording for almost an hour and I haven't gotten out of the atmosphere yet. This is a problem-solving game. Woo! Okay, now we're moving. We're carrying a lot less fuel, but we're moving. So let's just see how this goes. We're accelerating a little over 1G, so we're definitely accelerating way quicker. I'm going to go back to the original plan of doing my G-turn at 10,000 meters. That's my typical gravity turn point. So now that we've got a different craft, we'll revert back to original plans. Okay, we're still accelerating at a really constant rate. In fact, we're picking up speed. We're picking up acceleration. We're at 1.5 Gs now. Breaking 7,000 meters in a moment. Still lots of fuel. Okay, this feels better. This feels way better. I didn't look at the center of gravity, center of thrust a minute ago, but I feel better about this. Let's go ahead and start our gravity turn. Oh, shoot. Alright, I must have forgotten flight control surfaces. Flight control surfaces, please. Deluxe winglets would be nice. Need to peek them out. 6 of them, please. Without making it through. Come on, get in there. Nice. Alright, that's kind of close. Hopefully the separation doesn't destroy them. Let's try this again. Man, changing directions, it just requires that little bit of aerodynamics to be accounted for. We're gonna get to space. Come on, Asparagus staging, don't let me down. One out. Little wobble. Why the wobble? Begin a slight lean. A more aggressive lean. Nice, we got some good velocity built up now. 400 meters per second. Still feels a little bit sketchy, but we're doing better. Getting ready to stage. Stabilize. Stage. Stay. Stabilize. 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 Okay, lean it over. Lean it over. 600 meters per second. More. Let's put it on the 45 here. 90-degree heading. 45-degree angle of attack. Okay, this feels good. What's our apoapsis? 6970. Need to lean it over a lot more then. Current altitude is 45. Okay, we're doing great. This is good. This is good. Looks steady. Rotate it so we're not fighting the gravity there. Nice and balanced. 110. This is a really steep orbital approach, but it's not a bad thing. We're okay. It's just not as efficient as it could be. Stop it at 150. Okay, so we are at 72,000. We are in space. All right, good, 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 good. Milestone. So what I'm going to do now is lean it over to the horizon, and we are going to use, this should work out perfectly. We're going to use the last of the gas in the Asparagus stages to get me into orbit, and then we'll separate those out, and yeah, we'll separate those little guys out, and then we'll use this whole stage for our translunar injection. Good. Only took us an hour, but we got there. Boom, boom. The sounds of smooth, jazzy hip-hop in space. Yeah. Okay, we're at 120. Apoapsis is 150. Let's go ahead and throttle up a little bit. Put it about 25% here. Keep growing our apoapsis and just burn off this fuel, building some more lateral velocity. A lot of people think that space is all about, or orbit's all about going high. It isn't. It's about going fast. That's, if you fire, what was it Copernicus or Newton? Sir Isaac Newton posited that if you fire a cannonball fast enough to where it never hits the ground, it'll never hit the ground, right? And that's what an orbit is called. All right, what's our altitude? 100, 143, 144, 161. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this on prograde and throttle up and get us an orbital insertion here. At the outset, it's going to be a very elliptical one, but that's okay because we're going to the moon. So a high orbit is not a problem. Normally, I wouldn't want the initial orbit to be more than, 100,000 circularized, but we're going to the moon, so it doesn't really matter all that much. How's my inclination? 90 degrees. Okay, good. Okay, we're nearly in orbit. All that consternation about the freaking Asparagus staging, the staging was fine. It was just that stupid freaking... Okay, we'll stop at this at 100. So we have an elliptical orbit, and that's okay. So we got 477 by 100. It's a terribly elliptical orbit, but that's fine. All right, what's our fuel situation look like here? Half a tank, half a tank. All right, so that means I've got 137, 137, so I've got 274 units of fuel to get me to the moon, and then I'm going to use this for maneuvering. And that's a super efficient little engine there, the Terrier. Really efficient, and so I'm not worried about fuel once I'm there, I don't think. That said, I'm still going to try to be as efficient as possible with my fuel. Now that I've upgraded and got patched conics, I will add a maneuver node. Unlike last time, I'm not going to eyeball it. Efficient as possible. That'll put me at 156,000 meter periapsis. I kind of like that. I don't know what that is. Just to look at it. How do I do that thing where you warp to the node? Okay, that's to view what's going on with it. Let's go ahead and warp to there. Sunrise, woo, pretty. All right. So we're gonna have a 43-second burn. That'll gain 694.5 meters worth of delta V. So let's speed time up again. Get this closer. Oh, I missed a burn mark. How did that happen? Shoot. Okay, let's plan another one. It's been a little bit since I've done this. If I burn here, what's the story? Still got...
Playing?
Ah, I'm playing Kerbal
What are
Space
you
Program.
playing?
I'm playing Kerbal Space Program.
What are you playing?
Ah, don't be parents.
I hope I'm not interrupting your recording.
Nope, not recording at all.
Why do I see the button stop recording? Do you want me to press that button?
Oh, that button is because I stopped recording.
You want me to help you? You want me to help you stop recording?
Well, that's not a touch screen,
Oh,
so.
You want me to help you start recording? Let me take care of the mouse.
Parenting sucks.
Wish like the Jebediah.
All right.
Can we get in the comments and let's go Jebediah?
That boy. That boy. This might have been a more efficient burn anyway, based on this doesn't feel like 43 seconds. So back that off a little bit. Get ready to kill it. And kill it. Alright. Actually, fire back up. Moon periapsis 95,000 meters. Okay. So that's going to allow me to do once I get there, do an insertion burn. So we'll warp to there. The whole warp to here thing is not something I've used before, so I'm kind of learning that. $12 million meter apoapsis of Kerbin. As soon as you're going to see the nav ball change its orientations here in just a moment. Okay. Current moon periapsis of 95,000 meters. Now you see these purple indicators here. Those are the areas that I need to do sort of close flybys of on the moon. So I'm on the right orbital plane for that to be relatively easy. I'll have to change my inclination a bit to adjust for some of them, hence the extra fuel that I brought along. Speaking of fuel, let's do a quick inventory. 25, 25, so I've got 50 units of fuel for the orbital insertion here of the moon is what I'm hoping works out. All right, let's look at our mission requirements here real quickly here. I need to orbit the moon, stable orbit around the moon. We're about to do that. Bring vessel. All right, that just means orbit it and bring it back. I need to transmit data from the moon. Okay, let's go ahead and see about that real fast. Can I do a crew report? Nope. But I can do an EVA. Our first EVA is a species. It's exciting. It's our very own little Ed White. Let's go ahead and let go. Turn on your pack. Here's my little guy. Where are you going, Jeb? You're off platform, brother. What do you see? Lots of cool stuff. All right, save that. Oh, good. The cats are going to fight now. That's awesome. Cats suck in every possible way. All right, let's go ahead and reboard. I should have rotated the craft where I could see the thing, but that's okay. I've got lights on this thing, I believe, somehow. I remember how to turn it on. What's the light button? Can't remember what it is. You? Hey, winner. So we'll go ahead and transmit this back right now to get this mission requirement handled. Grab and board. We'll review that data and transmit. Antenna goes. How's our power looking? We are experiencing a draw of power, but we've got our solar panels here gathering a little bit, not a lot. The engines charge the power. So we'll turn one more panel toward it. That'll help. See how it's growing now. Electric charge. All right, good. All right, let's go ahead and bring it in down to the periapsis. And we'll circularize the orbit around, say, 60,000 meters, which is still a really high lunar orbit. I think we satisfied this one, yeah. We'll need to decrease our orbit again. Actually, I might bring the orbit down to about 20,000 meters at the periapsis, so as to make these, I mean, they're all below, so we need to, this is kind of a low-flying mission, which is cool. I like that. Let's turn on SAS, point retrograde, and time accelerate in. That boy. The nut. I did good, dadding. Okay, that's good there. Pointing retrograde. Enjoy that sight, huh? We're pointing retrograde, so that's going to bring our orbit back in. Well, it's going to create an orbit. Right now it's basically a braking maneuver. We're carrying far too much relative velocity into the moon's sphere of influence, and so this is going to enable us to slow down to allow us to insert lunar orbit. And I'm doing it before the periapsis because I frankly want the periapsis to go down too at the same time. If I can reduce the number of maneuvers, that's better for fuel efficiency. How are we doing on gas over here? Soon to run out. Remember, we're not landing on this mission. On this mission. This mission. Hey, Kerbal Rise. Pretty. Screenshot? Screenshot. Screenshot complete. You know, let's do that screenshot again, but this time with the thruster firing. There we go. Alright, preparing to drop this stage. And we have Munar orbit. So wow, that really did its job. All right, let's point prograde. Detach. And point retrograde. And where are we at? Let's go ahead and fire it up. And so now, unfortunately, that bit of debris will stay up here for a very, very long time. Because I basically had orbital velocity at the time that I ejected it, so it's going to stay in orbit. It'll eventually fall to the moon, but not for a couple hundred years probably. So now we're down to no more reserve fuel. This is the fuel that I have for the duration of the mission. So it's just a matter of now being efficient as to making my maneuvers do as much work in one shot as I can. That end, I might go ahead and change my inclination now. I think that's the right direction. Let's see. Yeah, I think so. It's bending down now. $274, 193. So apoapsis is still coming down a whole lot more. Okay, let's just focus, I guess. We'll try not to combine this maneuver. I don't think I'm smart enough for it. We'll go ahead and just get up to our periapsis, which is currently 68,000 meters. We'll bring our apoapsis down to 10,000 meters. You know what? 9,000 meters. Let's start a burn here. And look at our mission requirements again. 9,300, 8,600, 9,300, 9,900. So let's bring it down to 9,000 meters. Periapsis 42, 30, 20, 10. Okay, 84. That is low enough for all the missions. And then what we'll do, I'm trying to think, I think when we're here, we will work to change our orbital planes. So let's not guess about it. Let's think if I fire upward here. No, hold on. Okay, all right. So that's going to change it there. So at our periapsis, we want to reduce our apoapsis also to about 8,500. Got to be careful here not to run into any mountains. I'm not sure what the heights are. 85, 47, that's too much. 73, that should be fine. 76, 78, try to put it right at 8,000. Okay, 88. So that's going to be too high for that one, but that's okay. We can do a small adjustment burn at that point. My current altitude going over these sites. Not even really over them yet, but 54, 52, 51, 50, 45. Let's get our orbit in closer. This part is tricky, getting the precision of being over these places at the correct time and altitude. It's a tricky little mission. Okay, so the blue indicates what I need to burn for the maneuver to be successful. Excuse me, and that should come into pretty close alignment with my retrograde indicator there. Speed it up, get it down to around 20 seconds or so, and then we'll counter down. Okay. 13, 12, 11, 10. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 3-second burn. A little more. And 86. Okay, I'm relatively happy with that. Now what we got to do is kill that. Now we need to change our inclination, and I believe that means I'm firing this way. No, crap. Okay, so that means doing it here then. Okay, so that gets the inclination right, but then expands the orbit out too far. Okay, well, let's get the inclination, and then we'll adjust the altitude. Get it down to about 30 seconds, and then we'll position for the maneuver node. Look at that. Low and we are down among them. Like you get worried about hitting a mountain this low. 4 minutes to the node. Of course, we're under time acceleration here. Should get greeted to a nice sunrise in a second here. Two minutes to the node. One minute. And nice sunrise. 15 seconds. Let's get positioned here. 9 seconds, 8 seconds. We're positioned. 4, 3, 2, 1, burn. Okay, good enough. And now we need to burn retrograde to bring the altitude back down from 30 to 8 or so. Oh, activate navigation. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Just turned on my moon GPS. $15, $14, $13. All right, we'll have to raise our altitude again after we pass over this. What am I supposed to do? Oh, measure the temperature. Okay, so God, look at that. That's cool. Okay, better screenshot. Okay, which zone is this? 95LL. So I need to be under 9,300 meters at 95LL. Right now, I am decreasing altitude. Well, actually, at the moment, I'm increasing altitude. But my max altitude is 8,300 meters. So, should be okay. Speed time up a little bit here. Just hope we don't hit, the moon. We're really flying low. Look at that. Cool stuff. Let's bring time acceleration to about here. So, I've never had to do one of these around the moon before. These missions didn't exist when I was playing this years ago, but there are versions of it on Kerbal, which I don't really do. I find them boring. Where you fly around Kerbal and do scans of various sorts. So, when I get close, though, it should pop up on my screen saying, you're in the area. And once I'm in the area, I need to log temperature. Be there shortly, just a few seconds. I don't want to warp again, that's impatient, and I'll probably end up missing. Missed the mark. $7,700 meters. Getting close. Hoping I'm not too far down on my inclination here. I don't know how exact this needs to be. Oh, here we go. Log temperature. Got that one. Save it. While we're at it, let's go ahead and observe one of these material bays while we're nice and low. Only 16. Space near the moon. And we'll go ahead and take our mystery goose at this point too, and then we're going to get adjusted for the next. Nothing, huh? I guess it doesn't like repeating that. Reset, reset, close the doors, crew report, nothing new, EVA report, hey, good stuff there, reboard, review stored, transmit. Alright, so what's our current periapsis? 6100. I think we should increase that a little. So let's point prograde. Just to get it out of what I feel like is a bit of a dangerous altitude. At least 7,000, 11,000 over there. Now we need to think about adjusting our orbital inclination again. Downward. I might be able to kill two birds with one stone here, but we'll not get greedy. Go for this one. Apoapsis of 36,000, so we'll need to do this burn and then immediately after bring our periapsis down. 3 minutes to burn. Let's go ahead and get oriented for it. So you see the idea here. I'm pointing northward on the moon, which will change the inclination. Okay, so 2 minutes. Sorry, I had to pause to answer a text message there. Let's just speed it on up and get it to around 20 seconds or so to go. Make sure we're staged. Yeah, we're pretty much on the money. Burn in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very, very good. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and go retrograde and bring our apoapsis back down. Right now our periapsis is right at 7,000. For this next piece, we need to be basically below 9,300. Which one is this? Activate navigation, DD, FP. So below 9,300 meters for this one. Let's go ahead and burn. If our periapsis, excuse me, if our apoapsis, ooh, that's really reducing my periapsis more than what I'd like. Okay, well that's fine. That just put my periapsis at the target point, so 6,300 should be okay as long as I'm not hitting anything. God, that's a tight orbit. Oh boy, I love it. Not getting a ton of science on this mission though, and I guess that means that I'm going to have to probably build a lander with mostly what I already have unlocked. I think if I remember correctly, I only have like 50 or so science. No, 110. Okay, and then whatever else I'm bringing back. So I might end up with 150 or so. So maybe I can unlock some more parts. Okay, 9,500. We're still climbing toward our apoapsis, but we're close to that. It's a 9,800 meter apoapsis. But I'd like to at least unlock the, landing legs, that sort of stuff. Our little guy here has been in space for 2 days and 50 minutes. And he's been a busy little Kerbal. We're about to get treated to another lovely sunrise. It'll be coming from over there-ish. Where's Kerbin at? Oh, we're going to get a Kerbin rise. Oh, it's going to be awesome looking, actually. Where are you at? There it is. Oh, that looks so cool. I love it. Kerbin eclipsed, or the sun eclipsed by Kerbin. Alright, let's go ahead and warp to here, and we'll see if we get lucky. We'll see if we get lucky and are able to, like if it considered us in both of these. Go ahead and set that to Nerd's Cranny. Hopefully that's close enough to be in that area, quote unquote, as well as that area, quote unquote. And we can just get both of these at the same time. Okay, let's go ahead and bring it down to real time here. And let's set up a temperature reading. Toggle display. Are we going regular time? Yeah. No time warp. Getting close. was so hip hop. Come on, tell me I'm in the area. Log temperature. Keep. Alright, got the second one. Now let's change our navigation to this one and hope that we're close enough to that one. Let's do a little burn here just to ensure it. Okay, let's make sure I didn't accidentally raise my altitude. That's my apoapsis and periapsis just real fast. Okay, I'm at my periapsis. Good, good, good. Okay, let's open up a thermometer, one that hasn't been used. Entering. All right, log. Nice! 3 green checks. Love it. Now we need to get oriented for back swim. So let's cancel this maneuvering node and pretty close. Okay, I think that'll do it. 83, 59. Boy, these orbits are getting more and more risque.
I knew everything about this girl. I knew her favorite color. I knew her favorite food. Yeah.
2,700. I don't think so. I think that ought to do the trick right there. Very low periapsis. So, but I think we're okay. 26 seconds. Let's get oriented. Oh, 26-second burn. I'm sorry. So this one I kind of combined. I don't know if you notice I use more levers. Look at this weird attitude that I have. So I'm pointing sort of retrograde, but also up and away. So I combined a maneuver that would keep my periapsis low and at the same time adjust the orbital inclination. Let's do this burn. 26 seconds in 12. Burn minus 9. And And ready for full throttle. Fire. 250 meters per second worth of delta V here. Ooh, not feeling good about this. I think we'll have some adjustments to do. Okay, it's starting to work. That's sketchy, huh? Alright, periapsis of 66, apoapsis of 11.9. That looks about perfect. Oh, no it doesn't. Okay. Yeah, that's bad. Prograde. That's called crashing. Alright, that should be fine. Alright, so what am I sitting here doing? Besides just enjoying the view. Oh, I guess I should activate that navigation. Alright. It's barely going to let me accelerate time, so I'm going to cut here and fast forward this in the editing. Okay, I've set myself another maneuvering node here, and we're going to do a quick correction burn to get there, and then we're going to double check our periapsis and apoapsis after that. I think we'll be okay because I'm mainly burning prograde, so I shouldn't be decreasing altitude right now. Yeah, we're increasing altitude, good. Okay, that should be perfect. It's a very eccentric orbit relative to Kerbin, so it's almost polar. Alright, let's go ahead and get staged with a temperature, with a thermometer here. Toggle display. Coming into the area shortly, and then we need to start thinking about getting home. Current periapsis is 69, got an elliptical orbit. I'll probably burn out at the apoapsis just to get out of this treacherously low orbit. Okay, still activated as the navigation point. Pardon me. I should be facing, yeah, see how awesome that is? If I wanted to manually just VFR this, I would burn toward this, but it's nearly Look how close it is to my prograde. That means that I'm pretty well situated. What's the altitude for this one? Because I'm climbing. Oh, entering. Okay, log. Sweet. Alright. Let's point prograde and burn a bit. And start thinking about our return trip. It's a crazy orbit. Point to the 225 heading. I think that'll flatten it out a little bit. Now's the part where we start watching our fuel. Alright, what do we got? Well, that's wacky. Alright, so that puts us into a Kerbal orbit, an eccentric Kerbal orbit, but a Kerbal orbit nonetheless. 12 million by 8 million, that's not bad. So what we'll do is go ahead and accelerate time, get away from the moon, and then adjust this orbit for some aero braking and landing. Bye, moon. That was a challenging mission. You know, it took a lot of adjustments. It took a lot of launch work to get it up. And it's not over yet. It's easy to think it's over, but we've still got to get all the way back and land. Absolutely not finished with this mission yet. Landing can be treacherous. Watching for the nav ball to change. Should be any second now. There it goes. Alright, let's think about our return trip. We're already at the apoapsis roughly, so that's great. Let's go retrograde and burn. Bring the periapsis down to 50,000 meters. And then we'll burn at the periapsis, or heading into the periapsis, to try to bring us down. Plenty of fuel. Looking really good. Looking really good. All right, getting close. 1,000 kilometers, mark. Getting it down to 50,000 meters here, so 50 kilometers. It's kind of my sweet spot for aero braking. Keep it pointed retrograde, and let's time warp in. It's going to be a fast one. Say goodbye to the moon, and and say hello to Kerbin. That actually startled me. That's funny. Alright, let's go ahead and do a deceleration burn here. Between the aero braking and the deceleration burn, that's going to dramatically decrease our apoapsis. And then we can start thinking about our landing point. Current periapsis is 46,000. Feeling pretty good about it. No heat problems yet. We're good on fuel. Actually, I think we're perfect on fuel. I appear to have judged the fuel just right. We'll let that run its course. Should start regaining altitude in just a minute. That's where we just were. High moon by moon. We got some heat build up here. Looking a little bit dangerous. A little science here. I don't know if I've got mystery goo at this point, but I'm not going to open it this low in the atmosphere. And I'm really worried about heat now all of a sudden. What's my altitude? Periapsis is going to be 39,000 meters. Apoapsis 200,000. Alright, we're nearly at periapsis now. I don't have any overheat indications down here. We might lose the bottom part of the spacecraft, but I don't think we will. I think that's as hot as it's going to get, most likely. Yeah, we're good. Apoapsis is down to 173. Periapsis is holding relatively steady, so we'll still need to do more deceleration burn to bring it in the rest of the way. I mean, it would land now after a couple of rotations, but I could just do it ballistically now. But I've got the fuel, I may as well utilize it and see if I can't bring us down close to the Space Center. Efficiency is what matters. Get it. If you land close to the Space Center, it doesn't cost as much to recover the craft, and that saves you the dollar bills. Which right now I have $1 million. I'm not sure how much I'm making from this mission, but you spend less if you can recover parts. I mean, no matter what, I'm gonna have to eject this whole section. The parachutes can't support it. Okay, we're climbing back out now. Heat's less of a worry. go ahead and do my deceleration burn now. It's bad, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. Let's get pointed. I wasn't thinking about that. Wasn't thinking about being in the atmosphere when I tried to do that adjustment burn. Okay, new apoapsis is within the atmosphere, so this is our landing. It's been a pretty successful spacecraft after our design woes early on. Alright, so our splashdown is now showing way over there. I want it to be right about here. But since we have an apoapsis of 51,000 meters here, I'm just going to let that run its course for a minute. And then maybe I'll use the last of my fuel to force decelerate. Right now it's doing a fine job by itself. It's retracting at a nice steady rate. Kind of just a waiting game now, but I don't want to do time acceleration while I'm still interacting with the atmosphere here. Anytime you do time acceleration, it screws with the physics, and I've got air interacting with my spacecraft, and that's just not a good idea. I wonder if this has a crew report. Nope. Look how hot that got. It's coming back nicely. I think I've got 16 seconds worth of burn here left in these engines. Though it's probably a terrible idea. Look at that heat. Retrograde. Okay, let the heat shield do the work. And how are we looking for landing? Alright. Let's see how that comes back. I'll probably splash down a little bit beyond the center. Or maybe a lot beyond the center. That's all good. One of these days I'll figure out the appropriate way to precision land back at the Space Center. But there it is right there. You can see it. So if you were to step outside from your office, you would see a fireball going overhead, and that would be your carbonauts. Still 2,000 meters per second. So that's where we were 4 days, 2 hours, and 15 minutes ago when we finally launched this mission. After a lot of computer simulations, yeah. Computer simulations, we finally figured out a, so you can see the runway and all the buildings. Yeah. The ablator looks good, 172 units left, electric charge looks good, monopropellant, didn't use it, so we're doing fine. Okay, let's start thinking about parachutes. Unsafe. 16,000 meters. We're over water. Oh, KSC is so close. It's awesome. It's still unsafe to deploy. Oh, it's that one. Those are safe. And deploy drogue chutes. Slow this mamma jamma down.
Please don't make me go back to LA. I don't care where you go, Bojack, but I can't have you around here. You make me too sad. Okay.
Okay, 2,000 meters to go till splashdown. Alright, that must mean we're 1,000 meters over and about to land, so we'll collect this spacecraft in a moment. I wonder if I've done goo from the water. I don't know if I have or not, but I didn't get any. Oh, you know what? I didn't do any of this stuff. Oh, I've not done this down here either. Should have done that stuff from low Munar orbit. We'll check this action too, though. Hey, while we're 300 meters off the water, would you mind getting out? Oh, yeah, sure. Alright, splashdown. Let's check a couple things real fast. Observe? A little bit. May as well. It's better than what I got from the moon. A little bit of extra science from the water here. Nice. Let's close our doors. Oh, did I lose one of my... Oh, crap. Must have lost it at splashdown. That sucks. Don't even get to keep the debris. Alright. Recovered. And that was a successful mission after a lot of finagling up front. But that's how it goes with building launch vehicles. Unfortunately, not much of what I just did will be able to translate over to our lander that we're going to have to build next, but I have a couple of ideas on how we're going to get that done. Alright, so we got some pretty good science here. We recovered some pretty good pots. And our boy here got an XP. So, all of our no active missions. What's our next one? Explore the moon. Land on the moon is the next thing. Position a satellite is another thing. So a lot of satellite positioning. So that could be the topic of an upcoming episode, but I think next will be to explore the moon. Ooh, or rescue a dude. I like doing those. Those are fun. That teaches you how to do orbital rendezvous. You know what? We're going to do that next. So, Alright, our next adventure is going to be rescuing 3 Kerbals from the orbit of Kerbin who have gotten stuck up there like idiots. We shouldn't need any additional science for that, I don't think. I'll have to look at what my capsules are, or maybe sending up robotic ships. I'm going to make sure I haven't left any debris anywhere. So that's where our 3 stranded Kerbals are, and we'll worry about them later. Boom. What do we have here? Munar debris. Periapsis is 50,000 meters. That will scrap itself at some point. We've got debris around the moon. Periapsis of 85,000. That's not going to take care of itself. We're just going to let the debris hang out for a while, like the real world. Okay. Let's think about what we want to upgrade next. I think we're okay with our launch pad at the moment. Upgrading it would make vessel size and weight unlimited. We don't really need that right at the moment. Unknown object tracking. I'm not terribly interested in that right now. All that means is asteroids, and I'm not interested in interacting with them at the moment. Kerbals can collect surface samples. I want to do that before we go to the moon, before we land on the moon, but we are not doing that today. So resource transfer available. That's going to be important soon. Unlimited active Kerbals can perform EVAs. Okay, so just unlimited. Not worrying about that at the moment. Basic action groups. just don't care about the space plane stuff. VAB, 845,000 to upgrade. Custom action groups, which I don't even know how to use, so we're just going to live without it for now. Okay, so no upgrading anything at the moment. All right, so that was a mission to the moon with extremely low orbit, lots of corrections, and low orbit maneuvers. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It was very pretty. Next time we'll be rescuing Kerbins from orbit so that we can grow our roster of these 4 folks to 3 more. So that is the topic of our next adventure. Thanks so much for watching. Fishix out.